All right, the back page on the Chapter 2 study guide, top half, 10, 11, and 12 are very similar. 12 basically incorporates 10 and 11. So let's look at 12 first. 12 is basically looking at Social Security. So remember first that FICA equals Social Security costs plus Medicare costs. So we have to find the Medicare amount and the Social Security amount in order to find the FICA amount. So first thing I'm going to do here is find the Social Security amount. Remember that Social Security is 6.2% of your gross pay. 6.2% written as a decimal would be 0.062. Of means multiply, and the gross pay for this person is $675, and we want to know the weekly amounts. We want to look at the weekly pay. So $675. When I take 0.062 and I multiply that times 675, let me throw that into my calculator. 0.062 times 675, and I get 4185. Now I have to find the Medicare amount, so I can add that. So we have Social Security now. Now what we need is Medicare. To find the Medicare amount, it's 1.45% of the gross pay. So I need to write that as a decimal, 0.0145 times the gross pay. Again, we're looking at the weekly amount deducted, so we're looking at the weekly pay. So it would be times 675. So 0.0145 times 675 is going to give us $9.79. All right, so now FICA is the total of those two. So it's FICA is going to be 4185 plus 979 for a grand total of 5164. Now, another way you could do this is you could simply take the grand total amount of FICA, which is 7.65%, and multiply that by the gross pay and save a few steps. But by doing it this way, I'm able to show you how to find just the Social Security or just the Medicare, and also show you how to find FICA by combining the two. So this kind of shows you how to do 10, 11, and 12. Let's go ahead and take a look, though, at numbers 13 and 14. So I'm going to kind of draw a little line out here so we don't get confused on which ones we're on. Let's take a look first here at number 13. For number 13, Olga is a nutritionist. She has a family medical coverage through her employer. The annual cost of Olga's coverage is $10,800. The company pays 70%. So the first thing we need to know is what percent do we pay? So we take the total percent, so 100%. We subtract the amount that the company pays, and that would leave us with our percent that we have to pay. So here we have 100%. The company is paying 70%. So we are left paying for 30% of the total amount. If we're left with that, we have to pay 30% of the total costs. So the total cost of the coverage in times our percent is going to be our share of what we have to pay. So the total cost here is $10,800. Our share is 30%, written as a decimal is 0.30, and 10,800 times 0.3 leaves me with 3240. Now, that's the yearly amount we have to pay, But the question is, how much does she have deducted from her bi-weekly paycheck? Bi-weekly means 26 times a year. So I have to take the total cost now and divide that by the number of times we're paid. So we take the 3240, which is our total cost. I guess I should say our total cost. Our total cost divided by the number of times we're paid. So our total cost is 3240. We divide that by the number of times we're paid. If we're paid biweekly, that's 26 times. And that leaves me with a grand total of $124.62 that so that's 124.62. I should have probably written 51.64 in right here. I guess I could still do that. So 51.64 right up for that one. So now the last one we'll take a look at is going to be number 14. And for number 14, it's just like the one that we did a second ago, number 13. The only difference is instead of it being biweekly pay, it looks like it's weekly pay. So again, it's 100% minus what the company pays. Company pays 65%. That leaves us with 35%. So we then take our percent times the total cost. The total cost of her medical insurance is $7,400. Again, same thing we did here. The total cost of it times our percentage that we have to pay. Our percentage is 35% times 0.35, and that leaves me with our share. Our share appears to be $2,590, and that's per year. But we want to know how much is taken out per paycheck if we are paid each week there. So 52 weeks in a year. So I'm going to go 2590 divided by 52. And that's going to leave me with the amount that's taken out of each paycheck, which is $49.81. $49.81.